Yo, welcome back to a new video, fellas. So as you can see from the title below, let's dive right in, right? The V taper, the V-shaped physique, which a lot of people train for but never fucking get. Why? Because they're going about it the wrong fucking way. They're going about it the wrong way. They don't know what they're doing. But in this video, I'm going to be breaking down in terms of how you yourself can acquire a V-taper physique going forward. And by the end of the video, you'll have all the tools and knowledge to actually apply to yourself. That way, by each week, as you're hitting the gyms, as you're hitting your lifts, you can be more intentional and know what you're doing to then acquire this certain physique. When it comes to physique, it's not about these random workouts you see on Instagram, see online. You know, people just say, oh, spam this, spam that. No, the thing is, like, when it comes to anything, especially when you're entering a gym, you have to be intentional with that shit. You have to be fucking intentional. You have to have structure. You have to understand and know what your weights are doing, what exercises you're doing. That way, like, this shit is not accidental. You know, there's certain requirements it takes to actually acquire this physique. And the first thing I want to go over in terms of a V-taper, V-shape, is you're focused. So many people are focused on just getting bigger. You know what I mean? Getting bigger, eating whatever, and just training whatever exercise I see. You know, I'm saying I'm gonna go to the gym and just try to copy that. But time and time again, as you probably realized, you're not seeing the results you want, especially when it comes to getting that physique. But I want you guys to think, when it comes to that, the shape itself, bro, it all within itself, it's a contrast. So you have to think of it in terms of having wider shoulders, focus on lat movements, and having a tighter waist. Having a tighter waist. That way you can have the illusion of a V within your frame. And the thing is, what you also have to understand is shoulders are gonna be a key factor within your workouts. It can't be an afterthought and you think like, I'm just gonna hit a couple of shoulders. No, you have to be intentional with the certain exercises that you choose, but also perform them correctly. So things like, you know, side delts to work on the width of your shoulders, you know, and not only that, but you hear all the time, even lateral raises, but more so controlled, you know, like obviously the joke online being that, oh, you need to spam them, but spam them in the sense of making sure that you're prioritizing them in your workouts. But not only that, focus on control tension. That way you can actually feel your shoulders being engaged, and that way you can grow them over time. And that's what we want. We want to grow them over time, so then that way we work in terms of our width, thus giving us the illusion of the V-taper. And I'm gonna say it time again, bro. Progressive overload, progressive overload, progressive overload. Oh, I hear that shit all the time, bro. It's boring. Well, guess what? Boring fucking works. You know what doesn't work? Random workouts, not structured workouts, not have an idea what weight I did last week. Those aren't going to get you the results you want. So even going more in depth in terms of the workouts that you choose, such as, or maybe more so the movements on the lats, you want to focus on, you know, pull-ups, lat pull downs, rows, because at the end of the day, we got to make our back wider than our waist. We have to prioritize, let alone the shoulders, but also the lats too, to just give us more width within our frame, especially when it comes to the back. And that way, as the back is wider, our waist is more narrower. This way we can acquire that V shape. But with all these said and done, I don't want you guys going in there ego lifting, trying to do one rep maxes every single week. No. We want, again, bro, it has to be fucking intentional. So you have to train with tension and control. That's how you're gonna get the most out of those certain movements and exercises. Tension, control, controlling the weight, and then actually progressing within the weights, which you should prioritize in terms of tracking your weights, so then you can see what you need to actually push for the next week ahead. You know, so if you hit 120, like 125 in terms of poundage, and then next week you gotta go for that 130, you know, or maybe, you know, you hit 12 reps with for your first and second set, and then only hit 8 for your third. Next week you got to hit more than 8 on your third set. Stuff like that you got to be aware of. And another point I want to bring up is just where most guys get it wrong, right? And when it comes to just simply comes down to their diet, man. Their diet, eating way too much food, going on a bulk for no reason. And that the only thing that's growing, bro, is your damn stomach. And not only that, your fucking waist. Your waist. Now you're looking sloppy, bro. Now that shit, trust and believe, is not looking like a damn V. That shit is not looking like a damn V. But that's where people get it wrong, bro. They eat randomly. There's no structure within their diet, so they're actually gaining more fat than they already are. And then simply not understanding that as you continue doing that, the whole illusion of the V taper is going to be non-existent, because now you're gaining love handles at an extreme rate, more than you think. So with that, man, I'm not saying you got to be shredded to the bone, but you can't be sloppy either, especially in terms of what you're feeding your body. And another point I want to bring up is just basically your posture, guys. Posture, you hear it all the time, bro. Chest up, shoulders back, and when you have rounded shoulders and your neck's forward, bro, that's just destroying the illusion within itself. That's destroying the illusion within itself. And the thing with that is also understanding that your body fat, you can do all those steps that I mentioned, right? But if your body fat is still too high, you won't see your structure. You won't see what you've been building. And that's a common thing I see even with clients that I sign on. Most of the time, everyone has a good foundation. Everyone usually has a good foundation for the most part. But the reason why they can't see or believe that, like, whatever workouts they're doing simply isn't shown, or they can't see it for themselves, is simply because their body fat is too high. Simply because their body fat is way too high, and they won't be able to see the amount of work that they put in every time. So on top of the workouts, on top of the structure in terms of your diet, we gotta prioritize being lean. We gotta prioritize being lean, because that's the only way that structure, that V, is gonna show. Point blank. Can't escape it, can't go around it. You have to prioritize being lean and burning fat and getting down to a lower enough body fat so that it can showcase that work, that physique, that frame. And when it comes to just getting that V taper or V-shaped physique, is the fact that, like, you got to realize the chest isn't going to matter as much. The abs aren't going to matter as much. It's going to show, for sure. It's going to show. But, if choosing certain exercises that will show as you lean down is super important. So even with progression, let alone the shoulder workouts, but overall, any workouts, if you're in there with no intention, no progression, that's not going to help either. That's not going to help either. And it's not going towards that shape, that frame. The structure is always going to trump with everything that you do, because, again, like I mentioned before, bro, you have to be intentional with this shit. You don't acquire this physique accidentally. Everything's got to be monitored. Everything's got to be tracked. And you got to hold yourself accountable every step of the way. And another thing is just staying lean. Stay lean. Stay lean enough so that your hard work can be showcased. So then your V shape can actually form and people can actually see it. Not only people, but you yourself. And then 5, just your posture, bro, which will come naturally if you do every step correctly. You do all these steps correctly, bro. And then all you have to do is fix your posture. You already did 90% of the work. So that 10% is going to just come naturally in terms of your posture. So do this long enough and you'll be able to see, in terms of your hard work and in terms of throughout the week, you'll be able to see drastic changes within your physique, especially when it comes to having that V shape. With a V-shaped physique, you got to understand, man, you just got to be intentional in terms of your workout, not necessarily training harder, but training smarter. You know what I mean? Training smarter in the sense where you can actually push yourself to actually grow those certain muscle groups. That way it can aid you in terms of acquiring that physique. With that, you're not going to sabotage your waist either, which is the most important. Remember, we want to have width within our back and shoulders. That way we keep our waist tight and smaller. But that's pretty much it, man. Once you build that frame within yourself, everything just looks a lot better, bro. Your clothes start looking better, you know what I mean? You start feeling better about yourself, you know, be proud of yourself, show it off online like these all these other influencers do. But that's more of the story, man. If that shit helped you out, be sure to comment down below. And if you're new to the channel, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you're someone right now struggling in terms of fitness and need guidance in terms of more of a one-on-one, be sure to book a call where we can go over in terms of what your goals are and what you're struggling with and see how I can help you. But until then, man, I'll be back with another video.